Hello, and welcome back to another pen talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I explore the amazing, incredible, wide world of pens. And yes, I have a new pen. It's one I didn't know about until a viewer mentioned it to me. And so I said, I gotta have one. Well, first, it's the classic Wonkai design that Moonman, now Majohn, came out with many years ago. I loved my first one. So this, I would say, is Gen 4 maybe, who knows. But it's a great design, great pocket pen, and this checkerboard acrylic stacked resin, however you want to describe it, is just great. So we're going to explore this pen. It has a number 6 Schmidt nib, which is quite unusual for a pen this size. So with that, the crab will fart in your general direction and we'll move on. So I love this checkerboard design here. One pen maker calls it mosaic. And it's a minimalistic design. It's pretty much, you don't feel that transition from cap to barrel. And you know the barrel because it has the threads on it. So when you uncap, it takes a little bit over a turn. You screw to post, which makes it very secure. And it makes it a good length in the hand. It feels good. This section's a little on the small side, but it's a small pen. And as I mentioned, it has a number 6 Schmidt nib. One I think is an extra fine or fine, but it writes like a fine. And it has a classic feed on the back. Kind of looks like a Yovo feed to me. I've eyedroppered the pen, but we'll take a look at the pen in its bits and pieces. And we'll take a look at how it compares to some other pocket pens. The pen came in this classic Moonman box. We flip it over, we'll see some writing. We'll translate some of that Chinese for you. It's somewhat interesting. You slide this sleeve off, and then inside is the pen, secured by a little elastic band. It's a decent package. I have a number of these from years ago. Here's a drawer I have most of my pocket pens in. It's that great Moonman sparkly pen. And of course, a series of pocket pens. Here's those Delight Alphas. Yes, I did collect a bunch of those, and I actually sold one. It's now in Germany. And one I took the coating off the brass pens. It looked more like real brass. And here's other versions, and of course, who could forget about little Puccio? And here's that M2 and the pen I bought on Amazon, which I was never happy with. But it's a nice collection. As we expect, this pocket pen is a simple design. Besides the interesting, unique checkerboard resin, what else distinguishes this is a number 6 Schmidt nib. It's a fine nib, standard injection molded feed. And this just screws in and out of this section. And you can see how thin that material is in the base of the section to accommodate that metal band. And one of my viewers has noticed there's been some cracking in the section. And based on how this resin is made and put together, I can imagine there could be some flaws. It's a little bit of a crack there, but you know, let's see how mine holds up. So one of the downsides to this Schmidt is the fact that my small Japanese converters won't fit. Why? Because this takes a 2.4 millimeter connection. I could use some, standard international short cartridges would work. Maybe the Kaweco converter would work, but I'm going to eyedropper it, so moot point. If dark in the room, I think this resin screams for the LED examination. I like the way that it's done. If we look inside, we'll see that ledge that we expect to see. And if we bring the light inside, we'll see that some of those bits are kind of translucent. Get to see that nice little design at the end. Kind of gives you an idea how this resin could have been made or poured or something of that nature. I'm just impressed. And again, we see a similar type of design here at the end. I've added to my Checkerboard fountain pen collection. So what Checkerboard resin pens do I have? Well, this is my green one. Here's a Jinhao 100 in blue, a Jinhao 100 in brown, a Pen BBS 480 Hidden Path, and a Kaigaloo with an interesting pattern that none of these are really the same. You know, these are the two closest ones, but the white in the Jinhao 100 is a more clean white. This is a more dirty white, off-white. This has blue and brown in it. This just has blue, black, and some lighter colors. And this is primarily all green. So I'm impressed with the way this resin looks and how it looks in a pen. Do you like it? As you can see, I have a lot of these pens, and these are not all of them, but the ones that I'm going to show in this video. The N7 is very, very close to this Majohn pen. Great resin, but this has a number 5 nib, this has a number 6. And this is the original Wonkai that I've had for many, many years. It was my everyday carry for a long time, in my pocket, in my bag, never burped, always wrote first time. These are two of recent examples where I think they did a really, really nice job with coming up with an interesting looking resin. And then here's the latest one before the N7. It's a nice sparkly blue. And it's injection molded, and the price is just excellent. So if you wanted to experiment with this design and shape, that would be the one I would start with. So here we have the pens posted, and I chose these three because they're representative of the styles. This number 6 nib certainly stands out amongst the other two number 5 nibs. And this section is very similar to the Majohn pen. Now, I'll butcher it. But as you can see, the section on this Majohn, I call it Wonkai design, is a much thicker section, which I find a little bit more comfortable. That's why this type of pen can be much more of an everyday carry for that reason in my hand. But I thought you would enjoy that. Let's just take just a quick close-up of the business end. Here you can appreciate the different nib sizes and the different shapes and sizes of those sections. So like each of these pens will have a little bit of different feel in your hand. Depends upon what you enjoy. So here is just an illustration of some of the various designs of pocket pens. This is the D-like version. Has that removable clip, octagonal cap. This is the great one in cellulose acetate. And the pens also came in various forms of metal. I don't have the brass ones or the rhodium plated ones because they're pretty similar. And I love this one that's kind of like has a fiery coloral changes to the material used for the barrel and cap. And these two are screw to post. This is a push to post, and of course screw to post on the N7. So for me, there's one design trait that every pen, to be called a pocket pen, it must post well. And these designs all post well. You can see the N7 is the second longest to the metal one, and the black one's in the middle. Like the black nib, it would have been nice if this nib was in a similar type of colorful coating, but it isn't. But again, all these pens have their use, and just to show you the variety, I have a pocket pen playlist. If you're willing to look at the video reviews of these pens, check it out. This is the ink I decided to put in. It's a nice, wet, free-flowing ink. I thought it would work well with that nib. I bought a bunch of these a number of years ago. I don't like the shape of the bottle, but the ink is good. So it looks like these Schmidt nibs are becoming the upscale nib of choice for many Chinese pen makers, and it works very well in this N7. I'm very happy with it. Puts down a nice consistent line. The Sailor ink just flows very, very well. And as all my Majohn Wonkai designed pens, the nib stays wet for months and months. And it makes a great pocket pen, eyedropper fill, lots of capacity. You could write for days with it. And it's an enjoyable writer and makes those days of writing very pleasurable. So we're nearing the conclusion of this video review. So one thing I wanted to note, those of you that may have this pen, is the way the threads are designed between the cap and barrel. It takes a little bit of effort to unscrew the cap, but then after about a quarter turn, it becomes very easy, and it's then about a turn more to take the cap off. But when you're capping, as you screw down the cap, you get some resistance, and that final couple turns, it closes. So I think it's by design, the way the threads are done, and it certainly makes that cap secure. It's not going to come off in your pocket, which makes it for a great pocket pen. Yes, I like it. Do you? So we reached the conclusion of this video. I hope it finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, be they one, be they many. And I'd like to say thank you to everyone. You watched to the end. I appreciate that. And this is the end. And we will say bye. Very nice writer. Very enjoyable.